Oh, Chit. Oh, Chit. What's going on, Chet? Hello. Hello, Chet. Hi. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome all. Welcome. Everybody is welcome. Welcome to another Therapy Thursday. I am your quote-unquote host, I guess. I am Kilted Pork. So a brief breakdown of what Therapy Thursday is. Every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time here on Twitch on the Kilted Pork channel. We do something we like to call Therapy Thursday, which is I, myself, and my sister, Asteria, who is a licensed therapist. We come together here on Twitch to basically offer free help to anybody that has any mental health questions. So if you have any mental health questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and then we will have my sister basically, well, her and I, she's the professional. She's a professional therapist. We'll discuss the topic and see if we can help you along within certain limits. So without further ado, let's see if we can bring her in here. I know she's in the Discord. Hello, Asteria, are you here? I know you're here. I can see you.
Oh yeah, what am I doing?
You're sitting there right now with a slight slouch on your couch, staring at your phone, and you have red lipstick on and a ring on your left finger.
Okay, the only thing that was correct in that was that I have a ring on my left finger.
Ah, damn it. All right. Well, I tried.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Okay, so as usual, tell everybody who you are, your qualifications, and your limitations that given we are here on a public platform.
Okay, fantastic. Hello, everybody. My name is Asteria. I am an associate marriage and family therapist that works in the state of California. I am here to give back to y'all by answering mental health questions and as well as I can psychology based questions, but it's going to be more clinical based. I'd encourage and I just want to go ahead and give y'all some space to ask general questions. No, I do not do diagnoses, and no, I will not confirm or deny that your dad has narcissistic personality disorder. But I will be here for open questions. Other than that, we can sometimes have topics that we do, or we discuss something going on in one of our personal lives a bit, and yeah. Oh, here's just some things I have to emphasize. So I don't do diagnosing here, like I already said, but I also want to make it very, very clear, especially because we found out about some viewers being under the age of 18. I do not get involved in a lot of questions with the folks under 18 too much, only because children under the age of 18 are a protected class, and that can get really dicey pretty quickly. So just FYI as well. But outside of that, am I missing anything?
I think you got it all.
I think you got it all. But yeah, we're just having open discussion. We'll start with our usual. Unless there's something that you wanted to bring up or a frustration you want to discuss first.
Oh boy. Well, we'll start the usual. How are you?
Thanks. Okay, so I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. It has been a total fucking roller coaster with my job. But I have good news.
What's that?
Ready? Drum roll, please. Okay. I got the official date to which I will be moving over to my company's sister outpatient program.
Mm-hmm.
And that means Dobby has been gifted a sock.
So Dobby has been gifted a sock. All right. Gifted.
Dobby is a free elf. I made it.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you. So I will be seeing some clients at my company that I currently work at, but I will also be seeing clients at the outpatient level of care, and I think I need that for like some freaking sprays.
So what
I
is
can breathe.
So what is the outpatient care? How is this going to differ from what you do now?
Great question. So what I do, okay. So just kind of make it a little bit easier to visualize. When you think of therapy, how often and frequent do you think is the times that you see a therapist?
How often? Like how many days a week, or like what do you mean?
Like per, like blank per blank in regards to days and weeks or month?
Well, I'd say it's once a week for basically as long as you want to go, in my opinion, but that also can change. Because I know that you're in a system where basically these clients have to be there, I think on a legally kind of thing. Am I correct on that? So
Wait,
they don't really get a choice. Aren't the clients you deal with, don't they have to be there in like some sort of legal sense?
No. Not legal. So I work in 3 of the higher levels of care. I work in the first level of care that's right under hospitalization.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called residential level of care. And it's where a client has to be under observation for 24/7.
Uh-huh.
And so they live in the house, housing, within the company, to which there are like employees with them at all times. So there's like people that work during like the evening, some overnight. So
like just any other hospital, you gotta have somebody on deck 24/7.
But they have more freedom in a sense of like they can like roam around freely in a housing area, but can't like be alone in their bedrooms. It's just a little bit more freeing, where they can also like sit outside if they wanted to and so forth, but it's not in a hospital setting. It's like in a housing setting.
So almost like a rehab center.
Yeah, that's
okay.
a great, yeah. So kind of like that, right? Then they step down to the partial hospitalization program level of care, or PHP.
Mm-hmm.
And in PHP, they have the ability to like live like in a sober living or a homeless shelter or their own private residency.
Mm-hmm.
And they can, to which they could return to every evening. And then they're in program during the day from like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, so you're still not in that level.
Huh? No. I work with the 2 levels I've described so far.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So they could live in house or like, sober homes. Some people do. And when they do, they may have like they'll have rules on like they have a curfews and have to have weekend passes and be subjected to like doing urinary analysis. So yeah,
house arrest.
Sort of, yeah. But you could go out on the weekends and you can you can like you know, you just have to like have parameters on like what time to return back to the house in appropriate times. And it's supposed to help with teaching with like adult life skills because some folks, miss those, or they may they might have symptoms that impact their ability to determine time.
Right.
So yeah, and that's PHP. And then we do intensive outpatient level care, which is the one right underneath PHP. And it's where people come for, I think, like 3 hours in each evening. And so they have the whole day to themselves. They just come at night. And they stay in for 2 group therapy sessions. And, but they're like longer. They're like, the duration of them are longer, and then there's a long break, or a little bit of a longer break, and then they go into the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another important piece to all of them is that at the residential and PHP levels of care, where we have it set up where they see their primary therapist twice a week and their trauma therapist twice a week, so they get 4 sessions a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then at IOP, they only see their primary trauma therapist once per week.
Gotcha.
Respectfully.
All right, so going back to what I was saying is my normal thought of seeing a therapist is 1 session per week. This is like your standard, Joe Schmo, every person out there kind of deal. Once a week for basically as long as you want until you feel like you don't need it anymore. Some people I know, or not that I know personally, but people I hear, they've been doing it for years on end, and that's just kind of their them taking care of themselves, kind of like brushing your teeth or going to the gym. It's like, this is part of my regimen. I do this on this day at this time every week or whatever. So that was my answer to that.
And that level of care that you're talking about is called outpatient, and that's the level of care that's after an IOP, and that's the one that I'm going to be starting to work with.
So it's going to be less stressful, it sounds like. So you're going to be dealing with less, to be polite about it, less intense clients and more of your everyday clients, just like, I got a flat tire and then this happened and then my kid freaking took a shit in the sink and I've just been stressed out, that kind of stuff.
And keeping that in mind, if there's clients that come to me that show those different signs, I just refer them out.
You just refer them out? What do you mean?
So if you're a client that comes to me like once a week, at outpatient level of care, you were showing signs of any of those higher levels of care I even talked about.
Yeah.
I would refer you to that because you're not appropriate at the outpatient level of care. We have to assess if the level of care that they're at is appropriate for them constantly.
Gotcha. Okay. So basically you can put them or refer them to which level they need to be at. All right. So that sounds good. So you still have to go in an office and everything, right?
I think there's times I could do sessions from home.
You might want to get a computer.
We're going to be moving.
How soon is that going to happen?
I don't know.
Maybe is it within the month, by the end of the year? Like, what do you guys think?
Before the end of the year.
Okay.
Definitely.
Hopefully before the holidays, before it starts getting all cold and shit.
We're going to go right in between that time.
Gotcha.
That was the goal. So, how exciting.
Do you guys need an electric dryer?
I saw you selling it. And I was like, that's hilarious. No, thank you.
You did not. Did you hear what happened? So
I was like, something happened to it. That's why he's selling it.
Kinda. So this is how my Sunday went. Got up, started doing my laundry, doing my Isaac stream, about 30, 45 minutes in, I go, wow, the washing machine's already done. That doesn't sound right. Let me go switch it over. I stick my hand into the washing machine. It's full of water. Nothing finished. And I was like, okay, don't know what happened. Let's restart it. And then it would just not run a cycle. So I tried like looking into it a little bit, and basically something to do with electronics. It's fried. I was just like, fuck it, I'm done. So I had to go out and buy a whole new set. I mean, I could have just bought a washer, but I don't want to look poor, so I just bought a whole new set. So basically the dryer's for sale now. The washer got hauled off by a junk removal company, but the dryer works. The dryer works fine. And unfortunately, it is sitting in my living room right here. I can see it. So that's fun. I like having a dryer in my living room.
It sounds like a great decorative piece.
Yeah, it's something.
When are you gonna go down for this weekend?
Tomorrow is day one.
Mm.
So I can kind of say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also a bit bummed at the same time, because as of right now, I will be running solo. Which
how come?
I know people that are going. There's the doctor. She'll be there, but I think she's going to be busy with her friends. I might see her Sunday, maybe, but this is not guaranteed. So as of right now, I'm still running solo. The long-haired one is going to be there. I'll probably end up meeting up with them because she invited me to go hang out with them. So we'll see how that goes. My trainer is going to be there. I don't know when. I'll try to meet up with him, but no guarantees because I've tried doing this in years past, and it just like either people won't pick up their phone or, you know, it just doesn't work. And then I got contacted by the one that I met on Saturday. Not the one that you saw me meet on Saturday. The Huli Loopy.
In the corner?
Yes. The corner child.
Interesting.
That they're going to be there.
What happened? Oh,
well,
okay, cool.
Because I know
you're still talking?
Not really.
Okay.
She messaged me like, hey, because I already knew this. She's like, I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was like, okay. She was like, so if you ever want to meet up, I was like, how about you message me whenever you're not working the event, and then I'll see where I'm at.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I get 2 15-minute breaks on this day. I'm like, no, that's not working. Maybe this day. Hit me up like whenever, and I'll tell you if I'm available. And she was like, well, you know, you can message me first. I'm like, God, dude, I don't like playing this fucking chasing game. I'm so over chasing people. I don't want to. If you want to hang out with me, fucking contact me. I'm so over it. And
yeah,
this is actually a pretty good segue into my next issue I've been having, obviously, because it's been constantly, recorded that my lack of social interaction has been through the roof. And I mean, first off, let's start with this point. I actually I acknowledged this on Tuesday. So let me just give you a quick rundown of my day Tuesday. So I wake up, I go to the gym. After the gym, I go to work. After work, I went to the bank. After the bank, I went to the car wash. After the car wash, I came home. So in that full 24-hour period, you know, on Tuesday, guess how much face-to-face interaction I had with human beings. I timed it.
4 seconds.
Not quite that low, but close. 30 seconds.
Damn.
Now, I kind of wish I didn't do that because I knew it was already low. Because basically I put my average, I still think my average is about there. I get about 10 minutes of interaction with people a day. Average. Which is,
Damn.
as being a human, not great. And so that kind of segues into why this loopy person, even though they messaged me and I really am not super comfortable with being around them or other people that like the long-haired one's going to be hanging out with. I'm sure you can understand who they might be with and why I'd be uncomfortable with hanging around with them. But I am so fucking desperate for social interaction that I am going to put myself into situations I don't want to be in just to meet that need.
Yeah.
That's how bad it's gotten, and it's been bumming me out. I've been so just wrecked on this. You know, I mean, it's been going on for months. I mean, hell, it's been going on since the fucking pandemic. If you really want to look at it, I mean, it was getting to me so bad today. I didn't even want to do this stream. I was driving home. I was like, I don't even want to do this. I just want to fucking crawl into bed, and I don't want to talk to anybody because I'm in such a pissy mood because of this crap. I'm just so bummed out, and like, what's that crap called that you call it? Actually, I don't even know if it falls into this category, but was it catastrophizing? Is that the word? Yeah, but I don't even know if it falls into that category, but it's I'm not going to say it's in there, but I've actually noticed myself that I've been so isolated for such a long time that I am losing my ability to socialize with people. I get around people and I go, I don't know what to do here anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk to people. It's weird.
That's like the overall pandemic right now. Like, overall.
But it's getting worse.
Yeah. So, I do hear some shit that, like, I definitely recommend, if however that needs to work, maybe even check back in on it, because the line always, and the pulse always changes. In getting a therapist, because I definitely would say, based on like that element alone, that you can catch us now and build up, but I feel like if you leave it as it is, it's just going to keep breaking down.
Yeah. And
so I would definitely recommend getting a therapist.
I know you keep saying that, and I want to, and it's a problem because of financial reasons. And I need to freaking, I don't know. I'm wondering if I can call my doctor, my primary physician, and be like, hey, bud, here's the problem. What can you guys do for me? Can you guys send me somewhere that will accept my insurance? Basically make them do all the legwork, because I've already tried going through, was it Psychology Today and one of those other ones that you sent me to? And it's just, everyone's like, no, we don't accept your insurance because you have basically the insurance for a pet goldfish, apparently, because, like, you know, you've seen where I work. They don't really provide the best quality stuff. It's all about that dollar amount.
I would definitely look into finding a therapist with a sliding scale then.
Oof. Hopefully I can find one that's willing to go as low as I'm willing.
Well, I can tell you how much I paid my therapist after we negotiated this price based on my current situation. So I pay like $70
per session. That's a lot of money. That's $280 a month.
Hold on. I also only see my therapist twice a month.
Okay, that's $140 a month.
Yeah. And you have to think about it like instead of saying like it's a waste of,
It's
because
not
I
a
could,
waste.
it's a lot, but I'm also saying like what are some other things that you spend money on and can, for the momentary time shift over to there just for now.
That's the problem. Not really anything. Because you know how I run my setup here. I'm very efficient. I'm actually telling myself, at least for a while, that I will not be purchasing any more adult beverages for the house. I have stuff here, but I'm not going to be bringing any more in. The whole vaping situation, that's going to be gone. Yeah, then pretty much everything else is already running on efficiency. I don't run my air conditioner. I don't use my dishwasher. The only thing that's ever really on.
Are there things you can sell?
There's a dryer for sale. Anybody wants to buy one?
Oh wow.
Not really. I mean, there's stuff I could sell, but I don't want to sell. Because I still plan on using them at some point. There are a few things here that I've been wanting to sell. They're like sitting on my desk. There's like old computer games and crap I need to get rid of. But I mean, honestly, right now I'm having a hard time just even selling this freaking dryer for $100, and I just don't get it. People are like, "Oh, I'll give you 90 for it." I was like, I still have the price tag on the back of the thing. It says $900. I'm not. I have it posted for $100. So like, I'll give you 90. It's like, really? You can't go scrounge up $10 more? No, I will be stubborn about this until you go fuck yourself. I'm not doing it.
There it is.
So that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, I would also see if there's like, I would just go through your insurance to see if like there's some referral points that they can do.
Yeah. That's what I need to do. And unfortunately, another big old gouge to my pocketbook besides the new washer dryer is going to be my truck needs to be fixed because it's got an exhaust leak, which, I mean, I have to get it fixed because they're forcing me to smog check it again this year, which is, like I said, that's something that came up years ago, and I have to do it every year instead of every other year as a result of negligence from a certain auto repair place in my past. So, who didn't know what they were doing, and then they filed a false report to the state. And now, basically, I'm fucking boned for as long as I own the truck now. Cool.
Damn,
beans.
Dude, that sounds like fucking shit.
Yep. I argued with the guy, too. I was standing there at his place. I was like, you're wrong. And he's like, no, it's this. I was like, no, you're wrong. Because he was complaining about, like, one of the parts on there. He's like, it's supposed to have a number on it saying it's good in the state of California. I even pointed it out to him. I was like, it's right there. He's like, that's not it. I was like, yes, it is. He's like, no, you fail. Get out of here. I was like, man, motherfucker. And then I took it to what they call the state referee, so they actually work for the state. And I was like, this is what the guy said. He doesn't have this number on it. He looked, he'd even pop the hood because, my truck's lifted. He just looked through the wheel well. He's like, the number's right there. I was like, that's what I told him. I was like, that motherfucker, now I'm on the hook for it forever because that asshole was just a dick. And he is the owner of that company. And his face, in case you haven't known or you didn't know, his fucking face is plastered on every city bus in this county.
Oh, the bald dude.
The bald guy. You know who I'm talking about. That fucking prick. I want to punch him in his fucking fat head every time I see a bus drive by. Fuck that guy. Piece of shit.
We have fun here.
Yeah, we sure do.
Dude, that fucking sucks, though. I also despise looking at that person. Because I was on the public transportation for quite some time. So I'd see that a lot.
Yes.
And often. Man, I really sorry. I reflected on how much I fucking effort at one point I put into getting to my job. Anyway,
And now you have a beater, which you can probably get rid of now. It depends on how much you love that thing.
You would really be surprised to look at me drive that thing around and also figure out what I do for a living.
I know, right?
It's so funny to me when I think about it. I'm just like, this is funny.
People can look at you and go, how the hell are you a therapist?
Honest.
I mean, they could probably do the same thing about your therapist. You showed me a picture of that lady. I'm like, that's a therapist?
Isn't it great? The breaking of stereotypes is amongst us. I'm so excited.
I mean, I do the same. You know, I'm the guy that wears a kilt everywhere and freaking...
Yeah,
I'm all over the place. And you go, that guy's an engineer? Well, not technically, but you know what I mean. That guy's responsible for making sure homes don't fall over.
That's fucking wild that they're just fucking raw dogging that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that look of mine is probably what's holding me back in the industry. They're like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. It's like, trust me, I know more about this than you do. You don't dress like a professional. I was like, well, because I don't need to prove myself by the way I wear my clothes.
Fabulous. That is exactly what I think.
I'm going to grab a beverage. Keep going.
I really think this, and that's why at one point I stopped dressing how I thought they'd want me to dress, and I started dressing how I wanted to dress, and I became a lot happier there.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable to dress like a professional within, like, you know, the first month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And during the interview process, but beyond that, who gives a shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Truly. Oh.
See, but the difference is you work in an industry where they understand that you're out, or where they let's put it, don't judge a book by its cover kind of deal.
You mean that my line of work promotes acceptance and allowing to meet people where they're at?
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. Pretty sweet.
I'm jealous.
I'm not gonna lie, and for whoever's listening, as much as, and I cannot emphasize this enough, how fucking exhausted my career makes me, I wouldn't want anything else. Because honestly, I got a lot of freedom. Like, I know there's a lot of freedoms that come with my job, and it's kind of just insane.
I will say that there are freedoms that come with my job.
Oh yeah, your particular working setup, there's a perk I'm completely jealous of.
Yes. But basically, I feel like I have to take that perk just to stay sane.
Bro, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's probably what's prolonged him from staying there for so long.
Yes. It's the only thing that keeps me there, and basically it's because utilizing that perk allows me to go to school. So...
For real.
Yeah, and also, the working conditions are shit. For being an office worker, it's shit. Today, look, I have an air conditioner in my office. It's been hot. And that building, one, has no insulation. I have my air conditioner on full blast from the moment I walk in until the moment I leave. And I have a fan blowing directly on me. Excuse me. And, and I was still just like overheating. I stood up from my chair. I even left early again. And I stood up from my chair to leave. And there was a sweat stain where my ass was in that chair. Because that air conditioner is so bad and it's so fucking hot in there. I have the worst air conditioner in that whole building. And I'm just like, hey, this thing doesn't work. I mean, it's probably like 5 degrees cooler than it is outside.
That's fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense about the fan.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have to work in those crappy conditions. And right now, also, I'm making friends with the line of ants that's continuously on my desk for some reason.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm not making friends with them at all. They fucking suck. I'm just so frustrated with that shit because I'm looking around like, there's nothing here. What are you going for? You guys are all just like doing a choreographed dance. They're not even in a line. You're just roaming around in circles. Oh, it's brutal.
That sounds brutal.
Oh, and now I found a cockroach on the floor in the hallway.
Nope.
That's like the size of a
Nope.
bus. That was nice. And we got spiders and shit in there.
Please stop describing the creatures. Thanks.
There are more animals in that office than there are
Oh my-
people. Let's put it that way.
Bruh, do people even exist there? Because there's no trace of anything.
Yeah, so even
They're
though
what?
like even though that whole place is a dump and the air conditioner doesn't work and the
You still live there.
yeah, I know. Well, not in that building, but the one next to it. And
Yeah.
the electrical breaker, like there's another air conditioner I could turn on to help, but the problem is if I have them both on and my computer, it blows the circuit, so it shuts down half the building, so I can't do that.
Oh my God.
So with dealing with all that shit and having nothing there work and it just being a mess, and we can't afford to fix anything apparently, but the owner, with all this no money they have, was able to go out and buy a brand new 2023 GMC 1500 HD Denali edition with all that no money that we have. That is
Oh.
an $80,000 pickup truck, but we can't afford air conditioner or a coffee. Who knew?
I forgot. May I go back to my initial statement and saying that perk is the only perk.
Yes, it's the only thing that's keeping me sane, because at that point I'm just like, fuck this, and I leave because I can't deal with it.
I don't know if you can handle much more, or you're just used to the pain so much that you don't recognize the rock in your shoe metaphor. But I couldn't take it after like 2 years of my fucking job, and I'm moving now. So,
I would have been out of there if it wasn't for school. And unfortunately, school is the only thing that's going to get me out of there at this point, because
okay.
I've tried finding new jobs, and because I
Mhm.
do not have a bachelor's degree, everyone says, go fuck yourself. It doesn't matter how many years of experience you have under this, which, let's see, now I'm at 2 decades, 20 fucking years doing what I do. They still say, you have no idea what you're doing because you don't have the paper. I'm like, okie dokie. Insane.
In the memory.
And I'm sure my name doesn't help when you go on to like LinkedIn and all that crap and they see my actual first and last name. They're like, that's not real. I mean, look, I even got a story for you. So, Locks.
Yeah.
So, maybe I shouldn't have fucking gave out that name. Whatever, it's not a real name. So she works at the center at the school.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started going back, everything was online only, but she still had to run the center. So basically, if anybody wanted math tutoring, they had to go through her. They had to go on Zoom, log into the math department or whatever, the math tutoring program through Zoom. And they would, all the students would get sent to her, and then she would distribute them out to the tutors.
Mm-hmm.
And she admitted this to me. She said the first time she saw my name pop up, she said, this is one of those Zoom bombers. This is not a real person.
Oh.
And then I came on, and my camera's on. They're like, she's like, all right, what's your name? I told her my student ID. Then she even told me, she's like, after you gave me that, I looked it up right then. And I was like, oh shit, that's his actual name. No way.
Oh
And
my gosh.
even then, so she was like, yeah, I thought you were bullshit. And then once everything went back to being on campus and I went in there for tutoring, one of the other people that worked there, because I had to sign in on like a sign-in sheet, And so I put my name, student ID, blah, blah, what time I signed in. I went down, and I was doing that for like a week or two, and one of the other girls that worked there apparently had gone up to Locks and said, "Who's this fucker that keeps putting down this fake name?" And Locks had to say, "No, that's actually his name."
Wow.
So, and I've heard this story so many times that I honestly think it is affecting my ability to get a better job, because people think I'm just fucking around. My name is so stupid that nobody believes it. I've told you, it has gotten me in trouble with previous employers because of it. Not with the employer themselves. It's because a customer that we were dealing with said, "That's not your name. I want to talk to the fucking owner." And I got cursed out and blah, 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 blah. Until the owner said, "No, that's actually his name. Yeah, I know it's weird." So.
That's wild.
Yeah, basically everything that and this kind of wraps everything back up with my life about why I'm mentally fucked up as an adult thanks to my parents. Let's give him the dumb name. Let's not pay attention to him. Let's not freaking give him the needs he must have in order to be, I don't know, a functioning adult. And then tell him to go fuck himself anytime he asks for help. And then take care of the other son. Gee, I wonder why he's... no, I'm not bitter. Don't worry about it. Welcome to my rant.
Your soapbox makes a lot of sense. You got some big feelings, and it's okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel to let that go a little bit?
I need to let that go? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying like letting it out.
Oh, yeah. I would let it out more, but that whole no social interaction thing kind of, lets me just sit here and stew in my own brain. I'm like a crock pot that's been on way too long.
But that's also what I'm trying to say is like with everything that's going on in your brain, despite if it being that your lack of socializing or not, it's going to keep transferring into something else. Even if you had socialization, you wouldn't you would say like, oh, because I don't have a partner. If you have a partner, it's because you don't have your job. It's like this because of your car. It's just going to keep transferring. So I'm saying that this is why I think that getting a therapist would be important. I understand we already had a talk, but I'm still going to just say this point because freaking even when you get those friends engaging in trauma dumping right off the bat is can be it's it can be really heavy when people are still trying to determine if this is a safe environment, right? And as much as people like to say it's oh, because I'm too much, which is just the easy way to lean into, just because people want to protect themselves and have a reason why it supports why they engage in avoidant behavior or something like that,
right?
But ultimately it's because it's just a lot of energy right off the beginning, and people as humans in monkey brain, right? They had to assess if a situation is safe. And some folks, oh, here's something that you would really benefit from knowing. But the only people that really attract to that are people that are seeking that high energy, and in that may have that high energy themselves, right? And that in itself can be attractive to this is why when people are like, why do I keep attracting these kind of people? Well, when you put out that kind of energy, there's certain type of people that are receptors to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd encourage you to get to a therapist to hold a lot of the space that the desire to heal, because that's what is the desire underneath it all, to make it stop. But it's you have to make a choice at one point of ultimately all the signs show that you need to heal, but you could put it off. But at one point your system's gonna say this is as much as I can handle.
Oh, I'm there.
Mm-hmm. So let me know when you get into therapy.
Okay, I mean, and now here's the thing, because I've tried fighting that before, because you don't want to dump all your shit on people, especially when you're just meeting them, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
This has come up basically with, I don't know, 99% of my relationships, friends or like girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the beginning, I won't talk about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep it to myself because I know that nobody wants to hear it. It's, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
not my problem, I don't want to hear it. And then it gets to a point, well, it's more specifically with like the girlfriends, they're like, why don't you ever like open up and just like tell me how you're feeling? And so this is where the conflict comes in. So they say, open up, what's going on? And then when I do finally tell them, hey, here's the problem, this is what's going on, this is what I'm feeling, and I start expressing all the things that I'm thinking, guess what? They shut down and then they run away. They don't want to hear it. They pull it out of me and then they go, ooh, that's stinky, and then they fucking leave.
Yeah, because you attract avoidant attachment styles. We talked about this a few weeks ago.
Right. Or last week, maybe. I don't know. But yeah. So
yeah,
it's like I keep it
so
to
that's
myself.
what I'm trying to emphasize real quick. I'm trying to emphasize that because you attract it, that doesn't mean it defines that it's everything that's out there. But if you continue to say like that's all that there's out there, or it's all that you can attract, then you're limiting yourself. Whether like people are like, oh, what is the power really of like me saying these things out loud or thinking them to myself? They're very powerful. That they're so powerful that sometimes they become cognitive distortions, and just like that, they distort your perspective on life.
Mm-hmm.
And my good friend, you got some. But again, therapy.
So, I mean, you know me, I'd like to break down things to the very most simplest things. Basically, a therapist
Except
is just
your own mental health.
No. That's not true. Breaking it down to a simple term is basically a therapist is just essentially a thought dumpster.
Yeah, so imagine this. This is what I do for a living. You see how it could be a lot to like live with it as an individual?
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine hearing it every single day.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I don't want your job. You suggested at one point, why don't you go into mental health or be a therapist?
You don't have to, but it also is not always as intense. Remember, I'm at the highest or the higher levels of care. So I have like intense fucking clients and intense fucking stories I hear.
Yeah, but don't you have to show some sort of sympathy?
No, but you could show empathy.
Empathy. What's the difference?
I feel bad with you. I feel bad for you.
Which one's which?
What do you think?
Empathy's I feel bad for you. I mean, wait, empathy's I feel bad with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. Sympathy, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
And so I don't feel bad for my clients because ultimately everyone experiences trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on like the breakdown of the categories and so forth and all that. But everyone experiences trauma. Now, the severity of the traumatic events that they went through looks differently for everybody.
Right.
Right?
And I imagine something that's traumatic for one person may not, if the same the same situation could happen to two different people, yet affect them in two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
One person may see it as traumatic, the other person is just like, whatever.
You know who you would know that best with?
The Bob Dole. I don't know.
The eldest. Because you both went through traumatic events, but what you pulled out of it were two different things.
Okay.
And that's why there's things that he will never see or understand for you, and vice versa. Unless you have a fucking conversation, but so
Tried that. Don't want it.
see.
That's not the amount of, that's something I don't want to put effort in anymore. I've tried that for what, 30 years? I'm over it.
Have you really tried?
Yes, I have tried. I tried as a teenager, as a young adult, and into a middle-aged adult. I don't want to try anymore. This is why I don't talk to the parents anymore either, because I gave them enough chances.
Yeah, that's also fair. But are you gonna tell him?
Tell them what?
That's you don't want to put in effort anymore.
If I see him again, yeah, if it comes up, I'm like, yeah, dude, I just don't want to put in the effort anymore. I try to get along with you. I try, working with you on stuff, and you just don't listen. I mean,
well, that's also the thing I'm trying to say. It's also assuming that he's listening in the same way that you want him to hear you.
True.
That's why I'm asking, like, have you really tried? Not that I don't doubt your exhaustion of, like, every aspect that you knew how to approach this, but what if it's more than what you currently know? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I only know what I know. You know what I mean? What do you mean,
But I feel like you can always learn more.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, but I'm saying it's just like with school. I mean, it took me so long to go back, and I was like, I can't afford it because this and this and this. And then you're like, no, did you know about this? I was like, I had no fucking idea. No one told me about that. I didn't even know that was a thing. It's like coming up to me and it's like, did you know that they make tires that also have Bluetooth technology that will scratch your balls on Wednesdays at 9:45? I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. Who would have? I never even would have sent my mind down that fucking road. So as I'm saying, I just don't know.
So that being said, have you could it be possible to leave an open mind that maybe you just haven't found, or he hasn't found, what it is for you to talk to each other?
I will not deny that.
Okay, cool. So, cool beans. Okay, so if that's the case, then maybe, just maybe, just keep an ear out, and maybe things will change along the way. You just don't know, you know?
Right.
And that's something I've learned to do. Now, I'm also saying this as somebody who has somebody that I no longer talk to. And despite now, I kind of want to blame the eldest for this one, because when I stopped talking to our father, our eldest said, I bet you'll start talking to him in like 3 months. So anyway, this year is 10 years since I've talked to father or to talk to dad, and like, even saying dad feels weird to me.
It does.
Dad.
If it's been a decade for you, then I don't even remember how long it's been for me, because it's been longer.
Are you sure it's been longer for you? I felt like you talked to him sooner than I did.
I don't think so.
Oh, but I was the one. I was the one that had the final word, and then communication ended. In that scenario, that's the time I told you where like I exploded on him, and like fucking said everything that I ever wanted to say. And that was the last things I said to the man.
Interesting.
Verbally. Then I went to therapy because healing. Then I went to therapy, and when I went to therapy, I was recommended to write a letter to him and say everything. And in that, fast forward when Granny passed away, and I went back to the house to help my mom collect some stuff because she already like left my dad by then. And oh wait,
our dad.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He came in your mom too.
Good for them. I think during Christmas too. God bless. It's a Christmas miracle.
God.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh, and or maybe they were like coming to the end of communications or some shit like that. I forgot what it was. But anyway, the whole point is that I was back there and I was helping her find some stuff and get some stuff. And yeah, and it was after Granny had passed away and I found the letter I wrote to him, right? And he had marks all over it.
Oh no.
Like he was like responding to it on the piece of paper, right? Now, shout out to my brain and my for protecting me, because I can't remember any of the little marks he put on the paper. But right when I saw the concept of that he wrote little notes, that's when it finally like broke in me. Like I was like, this man is like unreachable, right?
So I'm assuming I mean, you said you don't remember what he wrote, but I'm assuming what you did see was probably all him defending himself.
Yeah, it had to have had that tone, because when I like mentally try to think about the comments on the paper in my mind, I could just be like, I could feel the parts of my stomach that are disgusted. And so I'm going to just make an assumption it's because he wasn't being empathetic or like understanding.
Right.
Defending himself, I don't know. But there's just like, that's what I thought and all that. But anyway, it's been 10 years this year.
Nice.
And it's so interesting because like, I don't know if you ever got the question asked when you're younger, like, what do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you see yourself in 10 years? First of all, if you told 73-year-old me.
So 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, you.
So 73-year-old me. If you told them, first of all, you're not gonna believe this. Pandemic. First of all, couldn't have saw that one coming. But anyway, in addition to that, everything that's going on in my life right now, I wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't believe you. I'm laughing because I looked at Artemis and like was like reaching out to him, but he dropped his phone.
Jesus, way to ruin a
I'm
moment.
like, hey, I still think it's cute because he's like, it kind of reflects him as a person.
Jesus.
I like him as a person. Compared to a lizard, which he does on Friday afternoons at 3, so I never see it. Ain't that right?
Wait, what? He does a lizard? What the hell did you just say?
He turns into a lizard at 3 p.m. on the Fridays, but I'm usually at work, so I never see it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going on vacation soon, so we'll see.
Yay. Good for you.
I'm very excited. Oh! To go completely off topic, because what has been this particular night, right?
Today?
Yeah, today.
Besides the loads of traffic?
Oh God, it's been so bad. Wait, no. I ain't following that road. I had roads I wanted to discuss.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Come back. Okay. That's called a stop skill for anyone that fucking struggles with reactive thoughts or impulsive thoughts or anything like that. Anyway, going back over here. I have to tell you, Chad, I don't know if anyone's here, but I genuinely don't care because I'm gonna just like say this real quick. Oh, but I do care about you, Chad, if you are here. Is this. I just mean when I say it doesn't matter, it just means it's not gonna stop me. You know what's great about the date to which I'm gonna be moving over to outpatient?
What's that?
It is the Monday after I come back from vacation.
So you're telling me you get to come back from a vacation and then go to a way less stressful job
That pays more.
that pays more. Wait, you're
Correct.
getting another raise from this?
Well, this is outpatient. This is the sister location. This isn't my current location. This is a whole separate entity.
Right, but I know you just got a raise.
Yeah, at this job. But I'm going to this job.
So are you basically employed at two places now? Is that the deal?
I'm like contracted into my current job.
So I'm guessing you're going to have two W-2s by the end of the year.
No, I would still be working there, but I still all of those time it's complex, but and I don't know all the building, but the way it's set up, I'm good.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Bruh, keep in mind this. I've been doing this. This happened following 6 years of college.
Right.
So, like, you know that time you were enjoying your 20s?
No, I don't remember enjoying my 20s, but go ahead.
Okay, so you know the time where you hear about people enjoying their 20s?
Yeah, that time where they're usually enjoying it at college.
I didn't enjoy mine. I was very stressed all the time.
Probably because you didn't go to like big college.
Yeah, and I liked that. That was the whole thing. Big colleges. So here's the kicker, folks, especially for any kids out there. Not a lot of places care where you fucking go to school. Like, I'm sorry to be the one that burst the bubble, but I legit went to that place, got into grad school, got this, and like I'm good now. Like, not too stressed, and so like it's okay. You use the best animal. You could just do what you got to do.
Unfortunately, I have to go to a school that's somewhat big, just because aerospace programs are not everywhere. So
That's fair. I hear that.
Because you need certain workshops and facilities and yada yada. Very specialized. Like, I imagine it'd be hard to become a marine biologist in the middle of fucking, I don't know, Arizona. Considering there's like no water.
Underwater basket weaving is all-time low out there.
Those poor basket weavers. I mean, everybody in the Northeast can be an underwater basket weaver at this point, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. There was something I kind of wanted to backtrack on. I should have wrote it down. You were saying something about what father did with like the notes and basically how you kind of forgot it. And
yeah,
I'm like, this is happening with both of my parents. And I don't know, I imagine, like, I'm going to equate most of this to, having epilepsy, because a lot of my memory has been fucking skewed.
Yeah.
But this kind of also, like, will prove, or at least I think it kind of shows how significant trauma can affect a person on
yeah.
on like a monkey brain level. Because if you were to ask me specifically what my parents did to make me despise them so damn much, I can only give you a couple examples. And if you look at them on the surface, you're like, well, that's what did it. It's like, well, trust me, there's more. It's just my memory it's not there. But I still have these feelings against them for a reason. This shit didn't just come up. I didn't wake up in the morning and be like, well, I didn't have Taco Bell last night. I'm going to despise this person even though I haven't talked to him in 5 years. No, it's like,
yeah,
you know, it's the same as, you know, like with animals, like, fucking A, I wish I had an example off the top of my head. You know, I mean, like with, like, I don't know, I'll just say birds and shit. They don't know how to fly out of the gate. They just go, hey, jump out of this fucking tree and go for it, essentially. It's just instinctual. It's like they don't have to be taught necessarily everything, because there are animals that are just like, there you are, fucking figure it out, stupid, and then they leave. Like, here we go, sea turtles. Sea turtles just go up, crap them out on the beach, and be like, peace out, fucker, and then they leave, and then the babies come out, they know, up through the sand, into the water. They've been alive for, what, fucking 10 minutes, and they know exactly where to go.
Yeah.
Same thing. That's how trauma works. It's like, I don't remember, exactly, but I just know, bad. Give me a spray bottle.
Damn, yeah, that is why maybe you have disorganized attachment. Maybe you have disorganized attachment.
Why do you say that?
Because it sounds like some things like you should talk about. Wait, maybe this is.
Like I said, I'm blaming my epilepsy on this one, because there's a lot of shit that's just wiped blank.
Well, also, this could be playing a role, but like, do you ever really remember much of them like praising you or giving you love and attention?
I mean, there obviously there's been points. I mean, it has happened.
Can you tell me the details of a few?
With the father, I mean, I'm sure he's done this to you. I know he's probably done this to all three of us, like fishing, because that was his big thing. When you catch a fish, you're like, good job. Oh my God, you brought it in. Congratulations.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, something like that. And then my mom, I remember she would, like a couple things I can just remember off the top of my head, where I got like you know, I graduated with honors from high school, so
that's awesome.
I got praised for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a couple of examples, but it's the fact that it was so far few in between. You know, and there's like a lot more negative things that are much more prominent. You know, like whenever I'd go to them asking for help or like advice and shit, and they're just like, I'm like, really? That's all you got? I'm in trouble here. Like, how do I fix this? I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's generational trauma.
I'm like, okay, well, you're not reliable. And plus, I mean, the same thing with like both the parents.
Wait,
what?
pause. What the statement you said right now is the most important one.
Which one?
You're not reliable.
Yes.
Yeah,
we've discussed that before.
Yeah, in attachment, you need consistency.
Yes.
But oh my God, sorry. This is a great opportunity for us to talk about self-sabotage.
Okay.
You have expressed what I would interpret as hesitancy.
No, it's more like confusion, because I don't know how they go together.
Oh, fantastic, because they do. And I will tell you how. So the thing is that because of attachment styles, sometimes if you're somebody living with an insecure attachment style, you may engage in what are called attachment strategies. These are strategies that you have learned that if you did in the past, you would get love. right?
Uh-huh.
And so just keep that in mind. But sometimes if your attachment strategy doesn't work or doesn't seem like it's getting the effect that you have, and the situation is still like connecting, like y'all are getting along well and it's like going okay, you may engage what is called self-sabotage, because your system tries to protect itself by not allowing something that it wants to happen, so you can minimize the chance of getting hurt from disappointment or abandonment or something like that.
Right.
So you engage in behaviors that look pretty outlandish, or maybe even feel like they don't align. Like you're like, oh, I just started doing that and I didn't even realize I started doing that. For like attachment strategies that may ruin your chance of connection. And that is how those two go hand in hand. And self-sabotage happens so often. Like here's one, okay? When you and the elder one would hang out, right? Before, because you have such a consistency and a pattern of someone getting hurt or yelled at every fucking function,
Right.
or something like that, one of y'all would try to beat the other one to the goal, or like they would try to beat each other to win who goes first, and putting the other people down as if it's like some kind of pastime. And that is why when y'all do that, I don't engage, or I try to disengage, right? And because of that, here's the thing, I've been actively doing that, spoiler alert. And so because of that, we've had multiple recent situations where the severity to which y'all were getting along, or y'all were like hostile towards each other, fucking significantly decreased.
I thought it significantly decreased because I just stopped talking.
Well, I mean, that's one way, because if that's not the case, then he won't go on the defense. And I'm not saying that you're responsible for him going on the defense. It's that now, because you didn't do that, he will then not respond to that. And like, he'll do his own nonsense, which is one thing. But yeah. Anyway, another factor of why everything changed was because of Artemis. And I'm just going to highlight that. Whether like anybody wants to give him less credit or more credit or everything, but definitely his presence has like set an like a unbalanced but balance in our dynamic, because he, out of everybody, can talk to the eldest, and they have a relationship I'm not even involved in now. Like, I'll be calling Artemis and I'll be like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm playing Elden
Ring.
Oh my, I'm playing Elden Ring. Sorry. He showed me their chats with the eldest. And I'm like, wow, am I even involved in this relationship? Which,
yeah, that's
no.
Because I see Artemis as essentially like jingle keys to the eldest. Because
jingle, jingle.
Yeah, he'll start going off as something, and then Artemis comes and he's like, hey, jingle keys, dingly, 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 dingly. It just distracts him. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, fucking A, thank God.
But ultimately, who fucking cares? Oh, dude, it's an Oingo Boingo tribute band.
Oh, God. Is it called Oingus Boingus?
It's called Dead Man's Party.
Oh, I've heard of them. They play up at the...
Fair.
They also play up at the, let's say, the place that's up east in the mountains, and it begins with an R.
Mountains that begins with the...
East of the city that the eldest lives in.
Yeah,
they play up there a lot.
Why? Are they from there?
No, it's a cheap venue, and that venue, it's a very small venue.
I would never go there. I'd never go there.
I saw midget wrestling there. And I also saw that one band, Corporate Kalani, there. It was fucking great. It was it's such a small place, and they put on such a great show. It was great. All right.
Sounds like a good time. That sounds like a real good time.
You really have to give me something good to go see there. That's the only reason I would go there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't fucking go there even if you actually paid for my ticket. I wouldn't go.
Not even for midget wrestling?
I don't even know about that, to be honest with you. I don't know about that.
All I can say is it's entertainment.
I bet. I do not deny that, and I don't doubt it. However, no.
All right.
Man, I'm looking at all these events coming up this weekend, and like there's like tickets to stuff and free tickets to like bars, and I'm like, that's what, like, to reserve your spot going to places, and I'm like, that's insane. Okay, cool, we're past this weekend, thank God. Oh, cool, like the #1 like Queen tribute band is playing nearby, but will I do it? No.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on downtown this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Big things, and I wish I knew where to find a fucking list of what's all happening.
It's all on Facebook.
Well, Facebook's not showing me that. I'll look into it after this. I'm not going to be searching for stuff on
Hey.
stream. I mean, like last year they had that Tim Burton thing I really wanted to go to, but I don't want to get into that whole spiel. But yeah.
Metalachi? Oh my God, it's Metal Mariachi, bro.
Oh God, no.
Yes.
Nope, that's just like country techno. There's just shit that probably shouldn't be mixed.
Oh no, I was gonna go to this concert, but the opener's stupid, and that really did throw me off on wanting to go.
Okay, well, we're not searching for events here. That's not what this stream's about.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Anyway, what's going
on? Fuck, I forgot what we were talking about now. Damn it.
Welcome to Inattention.
Yeah, it's the ADHD. Shit, let's see. What else has been going on? I can go back to like social and relationship stuff. So remember Saturday, after I left the event, since I had to leave at 7 o'clock because of my parking, I told you I was going to go meet up with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went up, met with her, and honestly, not a fan.
No,
she's nice and all, but unfortunately, okay, let me start with the first part, and then we're going to go into the next part, and you can break this part down. So first off, I feel like her personality is just, it's dull. She doesn't have much to talk about. I felt like I was holding the conversation and trying to be like, okay, well, what else? And this and that, just trying to, the conversation felt forced. You know what I mean?
Okay, then it's not for you.
Exactly. And then, so there's that. And now let's go. And now here's the part. We can start breaking this down.
Okay.
I found her to, and like this is the part I wanted to break down because I feel bad saying this. I feel like an asshole saying this, but she was not attractive.
Okay, so she just wasn't attractive to you.
Right, but I feel bad for saying that because
Why?
It's been pounded into my head.
Pounded.
Either from myself doing it or from people. I mean, I have heard other people say it. They say, oh, looks shouldn't matter. I've heard that said to me all the time. It's like, wow, you don't like that person because of the way they look? And I'm like, yeah. And then, so there's that side of it. And also, because I feel like a hypocrite because back when I was overweight, I go, wow, people don't like me just because I'm fat.
But did it have to do with just because you had fat on your body?
I'm gonna say yes, because there's a lot of times where they didn't know me personally. I'm like, oh, you're pretty. Would you like to go out and get dinner or something? And they're like, no, you're not my type.
Okay, so that's also the shifting in times, but continue. So now
yeah.
they are getting to know you, yeah?
What, people?
Like you're getting to know people.
I would say yes, but no, they're not, because like, I mean, we can loop that back around with my lack of social interaction with people. So people are not getting to know me. But the point I want to break down is, why do I feel bad about not being attracted to somebody and saying, no, I don't want to date them because of their physical appearance? I feel guilty.
You feel guilty?
Is that the right word I want to use? Maybe not guilty. I say I'm more or less, I feel like a hypocrite. It's probably
You feel like a hypocrite?
In a way, because I jumped people's asses for looking down on me because I looked a certain way, but then I go out and do the same thing.
Okay.
Because I used to talk shit about that and go, that's fucked up, you shouldn't do that, you should like me for me, not just by my looks. But now that I got my ass in shape, I'm just like, she is ugly, no thank you.
I mean, I feel it's just a matter of allowing the lessons that you've been taught to guide your behavior, but it's fine because it sounds like you align with this, so why does it matter?
What do you mean?
Okay, it sounds to me that you are experiencing lessons and conflict with, like, your values are conflicting with the lessons you've heard of, like, you shouldn't judge a people just by their looks. And even though this is what you value in partnership, and this is something that didn't align for you, you are allowing the shame to control your feelings about this, when instead it's fine. So just don't give that thought power anymore.
Is it that simple?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can just
people
be like,
but people just don't like the work. That way literally had the beginning and we identified the end, and now all the work is in between that.
Well, if it's that simple, I can be like, well, she's ugly, no thanks, bam, I'm out. And I can easily do that, but now I just have to tell myself, don't feel bad about it. Essentially. I'm trying to break this down to simple terms here. Just be like, people change. I used to be that way, now I'm not.
Yeah.
I put in the work to look good, so I demand somebody else that looks good.
Okay, then that's your, and because of that, that's gonna have consequences, and it just is what it is. So
and what do you mean? Like, what kind of consequences?
What do you mean? I don't know. They're just going to be good or bad. There's going to be results. There's going to be cause and effect.
Okay.
Consequences are neither good nor bad. They just are.
Yeah. Well, in my brain, consequences has always been used as a bad term, so that's why I kind of.
So you're giving consequences power again. You see what I'm saying? Like, people a lot of the times just give power to things because of lessons that they received or didn't receive, and they continue to choose which ones that they actively continue to follow and ones that they disconnect from. Like, for instance, a value I kept on always hearing was I had to, like, value the word of my mother and my father.
I heard that a lot. So I heard that a lot. I didn't abide by it.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I thought about, like, yeah, sure, for a while, but I was also being, like, scared to respect. And then I realized, like, in my value of respect, that approach doesn't work, or I don't align with it. Mm-hmm. So I unlearned, and then
and just enforce more of that. And then ultimately,
Wait, wait, wait,
I
wait,
just
wait, wait, wait. Back up. You just sound like you dropped your freaking phone into a tub of pudding.
and then I just enforced that as my thought process, and then it just became my thought process.
Gotcha. Okay, well, the only reason I jumped at that is because you said there's going to be consequences, and just in my life, the word consequences always refer to something bad. Anytime the word consequences, you know, oh, if you don't finish your dinner, there's going to be consequences, or if you don't pay your bills, there's going to be consequences, or if you run that red light, there's going to be consequences.
So how often or how much of your energy do you use to avoid consequence? In the way that your brain identifies with the connotation of consequence.
A lot of energy. Well, I guess because I just say, all right, don't do anything bad. But when you say the word consequences, you say, well, it can go both ways. But every time you say that, my brain automatically jumps to bad. So that's why I was like, whoa, I forget that the word consequences is basically
the results of
something else happening. Yeah.
Right. You and the thing that and the things that you learned in your life have added the potential of harm to it. And that's the problem. Like that's the example in itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like with anything else. It's like with any other word. Basically, with the way I was taught, it has a certain definition and meaning, which meant something negative. It's kind of like, let's say the word gay, for example. If you grew up in today's day and time, gay means, you know, someone who's, you know, not a straight individual. Right?
Yeah.
Not a heterosexual individual, but one of the original definitions of the word is just someone who's happy, but nobody uses it that way, so no one sees it as that definition. So that's like the word consequences to me. I always say it's like, oh, if you look up the word consequences in the dictionary, it means something bad happening as a result of something done, instead of just a result of something done. So that's just my ignorance of the definition.
So here's something else. First of all, so now that you know, now you can start to challenge that, right?
Yes, I'm just going to. All I'm saying is I'll have to be reminded from time to time.
It's fine. That's okay. I'm going to bring up another whole fucking topic real quick related to this.
Okie dokie.
So gay used to, you know, the original whatever about happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it was a line and it was associated with men on men relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it has now evolved that anyone can be gay, right? Like anyone, and here's another one, queer was an insult for even people in older generations that we coexist or exist with. Right.
Hello, Wolf Creek Observatory. How are you?
And in that has also changed. So in all of this, the concepts of like social constructs, which are these words,
mm-hmm.
because that's what they are. That means the word, like the way that they define certain things for folks is subjective, because and they mean different things for different folks. And in that is like the importance of like the whole concept of like gender versus sex comes from, because gender is a social construct, sex is biological. It seems pretty straightforward to me, but folks just kind of like, they're like, I believe in science. I'm like, obviously you don't believe in literature or like connotation or definitions or, you know, education, but whatever.
Right.
Anyway.
Can we put a pause on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wolf Creek, I'm uncertain about what you're saying here. Maybe it's just a typo. But Wolf Creek Observatory says, I've been so depressed lately about the amount of aqueducts in my country. Is there something I'm not seeing here? Because in my definition of an aqueduct is essentially a pathway for water to flow from one area to another.
I also understand that as so. However, we should understand culturally of like what this means for this individual. Like, does this impact like, you know, ability to function? Does it impact like the view of where they live? Like, what does this mean to this individual?
All right, Wolf Creek, can you go into deeper detail with what specifically you mean? It says, my Grease County, I am lost in where we are going.
So because they're creating all these aqueducts, it's impacting your ability to like move around your city.
Is what Asteria said correct, Wolf Creek? All right, we'll see what they say about that. Because, that brings a whole new light to, I mean, I might learn something here. Wait,
yeah,
I will most likely learn something here with this situation. But
I think this is one of the benefits of this stream for you.
Yeah, probably for the both of us. But yeah, please go into more detail, Wolf Creek. In what way are you lost?
That was it.
I'm gonna close this. My blinds.
You're blind?
No, blinds for my window.
There's multiple blind people?
Yes, there are a lot of blind people.
I knew it. That's
There's
what I
more
was
than one.
saying.
So,
Sure.
Well Creek says, I love to see handsome, strong men on the internet. It makes me feel not so lonely. Okay. Let's see. Ryan DXP, welcome. We also oppose government action against aqueducts. All right, so it sounds like these two are from the same area, and they oppose government action against aqueducts. So are you guys hoping for more aqueducts? Yes. Okay, so they want more aqueducts, so they're getting kind of bummed out. So it sounds like in Greece they need more water in certain areas, but the government's not really helping their people with providing infrastructure. Oh wait, no, they said no. Never mind, I got it backwards. I think there's a slight delay. I think if we can funnel water to our town, it would make Mama happy. So you guys want more aqueducts?
It could also be just I'm being a little observant right now, but I'm gonna wait until there's like a clarity in their perspectives.
Mama has been so sick, I feel for her. Okay, yeah, we're both not really sure where you guys are going with this. So what question do you have for our professional therapist here?
I'm gonna take a pause to say like there may be a chance that this is gonna turn into a troll situation.
No, I mean, I wasn't gonna say it, but it could be.
I was gonna say, and I encourage, it's okay, I'll be the one to like address the room. If it's the case, just read them to yourself first, and then and if it's like warranted, read it out loud. And if it's not, then just, this is a great opportunity for boundaries. Just don't entertain it, and just kind of, it will go away.
Yeah.
So, Twisted Metal, where have I heard of that before? Sorry.
Twisted Metal? Why are you still on the internet? First off, it was a video game about cars fighting each other.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think they made a movie.
Oh, that's what I thought it was. Anyway, sorry, I'm doing this because I'm finally looking at a bunch. I don't want to say that out loud because I don't want to bum you out. I guess I can't control that, but I also don't have to read this. So it's just something that has to do with Comic-Con. That's all.
Okay, well, what is it?
Oh, damn. Okay. Okay. There's some things that like panels that have been like canceled and like things that were originally going to be for Comic-Con have ended up canceling. That's all.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that's been canceled. I know a lot of the big studios pulled out.
Yeah, they're on strike.
Correct.
You know that, right?
Yeah, so that's why a lot of the big. But honestly, when I go to that event, it's not so much because I'm not like super big into Marvel stuff or Star Wars stuff or like it shows in general. I like my cartoons from time to time, you know, like Invader Zim and then like Rick and Morty, Futurama, the stuff like that. But I'm more there to, since I've been able to get passes this year for multiple days, I'm going to spend my time and I want to go from booth to booth to booth to booth and see what the small guys have. You know what I mean? So
no, that's totally fine. If it works, it works, you know?
Yeah, because it will give me time to really dig through the convention. Because, you know, all the other times I go in there, you know, just for like a Sunday, because like somebody's like, here, you can use my ticket today. And I'm just like, fucking speed run. I just like, I want to find what I want.
If that comes up for you, let me know. Because I'm gonna, or I'd like to go do some shopping.
I will talk to the doctor. There's a good possibility that there will be one available. And as of right now, I could be seeing her on Sunday. So if you keep that day open and you can get down there fairly quick, then yeah, we'll see. Because you're not that far away. If you can just jump on the trolley or something.
Oh yeah, it's right next to my house. It's wild. I am so close to stuff. It's kind of insane.
Yeah. But yeah, I got people fishing for items for me right now. Actually, I'm trying to find a portal gun from Rick and Morty to use for my outfit. Because I plan on cosplaying as Kilted Rick from Universe KN 106.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, back to the mental health subject. Oh, we're getting distracted.
Oh, damn, we are. Okay, never mind. I'll ask more questions later. Mental health.
Okay, so where we were going was, last thing I remember was consequences and the definition of it. We went past that. I should really start writing down where we stopped.
Yeah.
All right, so we went past the consequences thing, and I just don't remember where you were going with that thing. It was about, oh, I remember. It was using the words in different definitions, like the word gay and queer. And
yeah, it's about it being all social constructs and stuff like that. Like, of course, no one is saying that, like, that being, you know, a biological female or biological male or a biological intersex person, like, doesn't exist, right? Or anything in that spectrum itself. It's that gender is a complete social construct and the terms change. So, and these social concepts continue to change of how we address one another. So why is everyone's panties in a knot about it? Like, why can't people just be? And we just, you know, evolve with the times.
I think the reason people's panties are in a knot about it is because with the far left, the way they're pushing this, I mean, it's not all of them, of course, it's not everybody, but there's the ones out there because, as you know, it's the loudest voice is the one that gets the attention. So
the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So,
or whatever.
It's the absurd people that are being given a voice, which is making the whole system look bad. So if you want to identify as this, that, or the other, whatever, fine. But it's the people that are nitpicking at the smallest shit is where it's getting out of hand.
But that's not, those folks are not the ones that are saying it for the sake of the situation. Those are the folks that are the ones that are the loudest, are also the traumatized ones. So they're the ones that are projecting their trauma and their personality disorders, which again come from trauma. Um, there's a cluster of them that not so much just trauma alone. But anyway, um, and some definitely need some medication, but it's like, of course they're getting the loudest, but also what makes the situation ridiculous is how folks are responding to it, you know? Like I was watching this guy do interviews with folks at Trump rallies recently, and they were having folks say like it's just disgusting how like they make their children like participate and like wear this like outrageous clothing and everything like that. And the interviewer guy's like, yeah, like they make their kids wear the hats and the shirts just like the parents do, and they make it a cornerstone of their identity, and they put it all in your face, and that's really annoying, huh? And then they go back to this family who's wearing MAGA hats and like fucking flag shirts and shit like that, and they're like, yeah, like that's disgusting, like that would be embarrassing to see in public. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was that TikTok I sent you.
yeah,
Yes.
that one.
That was funny.
Yeah, and
That
I'm
was
like, but
hypocritical.
that is so, yes, it's hilarious, and that's my whole point. So in all of McFucking that, it's like, that's what I'm trying to say, is like it's so annoying because the concept itself is like whatever. The people that make it bigger are the ones that don't want it to be big. You know what I'm saying? It's so dumb.
Right. Okay, I think
Like,
you and I might have been seeing this from two different points then.
yeah.
Because where I'm seeing the people getting annoyed with a lot of this, actually, does this movement even have a name anymore? It's not the Me Too movement, is it?
I don't believe.
Oh, anyway, so with the whole LGBTQIA plus alphabet Delta rewards program, it's like one of the absurd things I saw. I mean, I guess it's not that bad, honestly. But remember when I took that picture inside the bathroom?
Oh yeah, like, but like, once again, there are just folks that just do that. Like, there's people that, like, that just happens to.
Right, and so what I saw that on that sign, because they cross out the word feminine. And for people that are listening, so basically there was a sign that said, warning, please do not flush feminine products down the toilet. Thank you. And somebody crossed out the word feminine and put period products.
Yeah, which make it more accurate.
Correct. And are they wrong for thinking it should say that? Not necessarily. No, they have a point. But the part that bugged me is they went out of their way to defile a sign that was bought and paid for to give a warning about not fucking up this business's toilets.
I thought it was a piece of paper. Like a printed piece of paper.
Was it?
Yeah.
Anyway, they had to go out of their way to mark up something to change it because it's that big of a problem. It's not even a problem. Basically, this is a simple sign that is there to deliver a message to people that a majority of people would understand. And because someone just slightly didn't agree with it, they now have to say, no, everybody changed because of me, this one person. Well, everybody has to abide by me, the center of the universe, this person.
See, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you because one person did it.
Right.
Sure. One person did, but to say that it's only that person who has a problem with it, not necessarily so. It's just the one person that actually did it.
Well, I'm
right?
sure a lot of people had a problem with it, but they weren't going to go out of their way.
But that's the whole thing with like change, right? Like regardless of either way of, you know, wherever the direction of the social climate happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that change is like you need to do something in order for change to happen. Like if everything goes dut 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 dut, guess what? It's gonna stay dut 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 dut, right?
Right.
But the thing is that there's people out there that yes, they're loud enough and they want that change, so they do an action, right? But it's up to society as a whole to define if they're willing to accept that change, right?
Right.
And the people as members in that society that have majority enough weight to outweigh the counter belief will then they'll allow shift to change one way or another.
Yes.
Right? So, but somebody has to start somewhere. And in order to see and test of us having this non conscious, like we're not having this objective meeting of like should be on the next agenda of social acceptances. It's a unspoken thing that we just do as a society, to which we've always just done, and then people just accept it or they deny it, right? How do I know this? A great example is like how popular it was to be skinny for a long time, right? And now like there's so much media that supports people that have like bigger bodies, right? And ultimately it's like, and like people congratulating and everything like that. And I know this because I have always been the shape that I am for like in some capacity or in fluctuation since I was very young. And when I was growing up, I was bullied, but now I'm seen as like, and I get compliments and stuff like that. It's interesting, but I didn't say, hey, we all need to just be nice to me because I'm like, I have fat on my body. It's that we're saying it just happened. It like somebody said it enough and society outweighed the initial thought and then change happened. But somebody had to say something. So as much as people have their connotations on this, to which you have your own, which is totally fine, you will then make a conscious decision of where you align with this social problem. And to which that's fine and all, but however, sorry to say for anyone, majority wins. And majority looks differently everywhere. Right? So it's like, so if you don't like it, go to where other people don't like it. Like, or like understand, like whatever. It's like, but if the majority of this place that you're, or the people are wanting that rather than the counter, then the problem isn't them, it's you.
Right.
You're the one that is the outlier here in this situation, unfortunately. Even if it's just by a little bit that the majority wins. It's like, then if you don't like it, you either have to just allow it to happen and coexist and just be okay with it, or you could do something about it. And that is my soapbox for the evening.
Right. Okay, so in that situation, I get what you're talking about. Now I'm going to bring up another point kind of along the same lines. So with, again, so this person went out of the way to mark that sign. Fine. But there's certain situations where I feel like this movement needs to keep its hands out of. For, honestly, straight up, the main one, the medical industry.
How come?
Because it can, at least from my point of view, it can cause more problems and cause more people to get hurt if it gets pushed too far. And I'm just going to bring up a specific example, and I've heard people complain about this. Has anything been changed about it? No, because I still think the majority thinks like I do. When you go into a medical office, they say, what is your sex, male or female? Now,
Right.
it maybe they can reword that a little bit. What is your biological sex? Or which organs do you have, male, female? But if somebody goes in there and says, well, I have a penis, but I identify as a woman, and you go in there and they give you a medication that's supposed to do something or whatever, you know, or a procedure, and it ends up fucking you up more, like, you know, that shit can happen because we're not built the same. So
Well,
that's
yeah, obviously, and the thing is that medical people know that. And once again, I think you're just speaking on behalf of the people that are the loudest.
yes, I
But
am.
as somebody that works with queer folks
Mm-hmm.
and are exposed to medication-based medical folks
Right.
and physiological like doctors and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
they are fully aware of that, and a lot of ethical people understand that, and the individuals and the clients that go in there understand that, like, a lot of the time. It's just the loud ones and the ones that get on the news.
Yes,
So
it is.
once
That's those the ones.
again,
Yeah.
once again, it's because everybody sees this one scary thing that they don't like, right? Whatever your connotation of what scary thing you don't like means.
Mm-hmm.
And then they define it for all people in that category, to which that limits connection, keeps us divided and like misinformed, and that's why we can't fucking move forward as a goddamn human race.
Yeah. I mean, but that kind of branches off into another debate. It's now okay, because I agree with you. I am speaking of the ones that are yelling the loudest.
Right.
When, I mean, there's no defined answer to this. I don't think that we can come up with, but it brings up the question or the debate of when do we stop listening to the loud ones? Because sometimes
that's just a part of being a human. You're not gonna stop it, and you're not failing because you're listening to it, or you're not listening to it, because monkey brain says do that because loud equals alert, right?
right,
And of course that's just how we're set up
right,
to
but
do.
there have been situations, I don't have any off the top of my head because I don't have that kind of memory to retain this shit because I don't care that much. But there have been times where the loud ones, which in my opinion I'm going to call crazy people, have gotten their way and bad shit has happened because they were loud enough, it wasn't necessarily a majority. It's just you had a group of 10 people that fucking had megaphones, you know, but then again, since they were so loud, if they didn't get their way, it negatively affected other people. So the 10 super loud ones fucked up 1,000 not loud ones.
Yeah, it's called a social experiment.
Okay.
It's a social experiment where the extreme takes the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody just lets it happen because people tend to think in extremes, which is exhausting, but hey, it takes a lot to not do that.
We learned about that in history class, how not to listen to the extremists on both ends.
Yeah. Ergo this conversation. Okay. Is in that, that in listening, or like when it comes to the extremes, we're like used to listening to the extremes, right?
Right.
But it does take a lot to not listen to the extremes. And as much as people like tend to say like, oh, I'm very deep and I think all these things, it's once again trauma, by the way.
Why is that?
Why? Because people are speaking from their limbic system, which is their reptilian brain, by the way.
Monkey.
monkey because they're not allowing past cognition or strengthening the space between their prefrontal cortex and their limbic system. Because they are not allowed. And how I know that is because if we actually had a conversation, many, like, even in that, there are times where, because I'm not saying like I'm free of this just because I speak of this, because as much as people think that knowing more means that they'll do less, it does mean it will subtract the amount of like struggles and like turbulence that you may encounter. However, it doesn't mean that you're free from it just because you know a lot. So spoiler alert to anyone who thinks that knowing a lot's gonna save them. But it's not. Or at least it's not gonna keep you away from everything, but it will save you from a lot. So that being said, I think that if people allow themselves to go into these different environments and different cultures and like get to learn things, like instead of just reacting like monkey brain and just sitting there, they don't even have to say anything. They just sit and listen. Then they can at least say, hey, I try to make an educated guess for myself, or doing a little research, right? This goes into where people think, oh, you get brainwashed when you go into college. It's like, no, we're just exposed to more environments and cultural things, and because of that expansion of thought, you start to have to understand people a lot more and meeting them where they're at a lot more. And many folks don't like to do that because that would cause them to have to be vulnerable and open and be wrong and experience shame, and they would rather nurture that feeling rather than engage in vulnerability, risk being wrong, risk shame, risk these things, and actually expand their world's view, to which will actually overall decrease their shame, their guilt, their resentments, and so forth. Right. But many people don't want to do that because it's uncomfortable and they would rather be comfortable. So if we would just stop saying it's them versus me, it's that, I'm like, you are uncomfortable and you're letting your trauma talk, and we can all see it.
Now I'm gonna bring up,
and we have like only a couple more minutes, so
right.
FYI.
I'm gonna bring this up now. Let's say, so people that go to college, some people say they're being brainwashed. Now I'm gonna really throw a monkey wrench into this. Now, the people that are saying that the folks in college are being brainwashed, this is just my thought, they could be coming up with that conclusion because they see the loud ones who learned something in college, which can happen, and they react to what they learn instead of what's the other word? Respond to what they've learned. So when you get someone that's like, I learned this in history class, all white people are evil, blah, and they just freak the fuck out instead of going, well, why did this actually happen? You know, over history, it wasn't just, everyone's bad, there's deeper shit to this. And then that person who didn't really take in the whole subject at school, they just reacted to one thing they fucking heard. Now they're loud and they get put on the news, which goes back to the people that are not in school. And then they go, these people are getting fucking brainwashed because the people not in school can also just, not, think critically either. It's just basically you have someone who doesn't think critically outside of school looking at someone inside the school who didn't think critically, and then they're like, it just becomes a tornado of shit.
Yeah, welcome to the outside of watching that fucking nonsense. And welcome to like the fucking small amount of people that fucking realize what's fucking going on. But I know that, let me get you a cup of Kool-Aid. Like there's some snacks over there.
Now, I'm going to say that I do take pride in my ability to at least try to think of this shit critically. And I will say that some of that has, not a majority, but a good chunk. I'll say a good 25% of my critical thinking has come from going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Because what did you do? You left your home. You're going into an environment with other folks who are in it, and you're learning about other cultures and other people. So you're going outside of your immediate circle. It's almost as if your immediate circle limits you.
It does, and what I'm going to say is it's you're learning something that you normally wouldn't learn or even think about learning. It's kind of I take this back to an example I keep giving. It's kind of about me getting into school. How you said, oh, you can do all this stuff to afford to go to school, and I didn't know about it. And people go, well, how did you not know about it? It's like, it's the example of living in a town surrounded by, let's put it like this. It's kind of like the Truman Show. He had no idea what was beyond the horizon because he
Well, you know what?
but he never thought to even think about it. It wasn't something he ever saw or thought of. It's like, so that's what it's like for certain people. They don't understand what's inside the school and what they can learn there because their brain just doesn't ever think to even, like, their brain just doesn't know that's a thing. Thank you, Noseman27, for watching or for following very much.
So ergo our eldest.
Exactly, but he's a
And so why are
slightly different case because he's got two people sitting here going, hey bud, here's some information. But
yeah, because he's making a choice.
Yeah,
and that's when it becomes deliberate.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
with me, it's like telling me, hey, you should know this about turnip farming. It's like, I never would have fucking thought about turnip farming in a million fucking years if I didn't go back to this place that happened to bring it up at some point.
Well, here's the last thing that I'll say for like this for tonight, just to make you like think about this.
Yeah, we're winding it down, chat, by the way. This is the end.
Is the thing is that like we are two people that are saying that, but you also had folks you this whole time saying you should go to school, you know it's better for you. That didn't mean that you went to school any faster, right? And yeah, you can have your reasons, and despite if they're rational or not, they make sense to you.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that's going on with our eldest is that just make like he's not receptive to it, and that's like, and if you can't handle that he's not receptive to it, or that's just not something that you want to hold space for or put energy into understanding and also having a relationship, that's your choice, you know. But the thing is that I can get to a point where I can tolerate enough to which I can still like see him and hang out with him like here and there, and that's okay, you know.
Right.
So it's like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's coming down to that you and I have two different windows of tolerance of him. And Artemis has the best because he hasn't been here this whole time, or even a portion of the time as long in comparison to us, except he's been around like good enough and he's been actively communicating with the eldest.
Mm-hmm.
And now they get like along. So like they're friends and shit. I feel like it's at that point where it's like I couldn't like Artemis and I couldn't even break up the relationship because there's too many ties now. Like we're here now. He stuck his tongue out at me. But like he called me a loser. He started kicking me. I'm crying.
Abuse. I'm gonna call 411 information.
Damn it. But anyway, it comes back to you. It's like, what are you willing to tolerate, you know? And even if, like, so when people are like, I just can't do it anymore, it's all like, well, what is the next step? But it's like, well, do you want to build your tolerance so that you can tolerate it? Do you want to do some work to see if that's even worth your time? Or do you want to understand what about it can't you tolerate, understand it at its core, and make a choice from there?
Well, it sounds like all three would be the way to go.
So that is my final thought for the night.
And that is going to be our final topic for the night. Thank you, everybody, for hanging hanging out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Asteria, for hanging out
Yay.
and doing this thing. Yeah. Let's see. As far as I know, we should be back next Thursday again, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. More Therapy Thursday. If you have any mental health questions, be sure to write them down now so you don't forget. Bring them in next week. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching to the very end. Much appreciated. Go to twitch.tv/kilted_port. Give us a follow and come join us on our Therapy Thursdays. As far as streaming for the rest of the week goes, there's a good chance there'll be no Binding of Isaac this weekend. So sorry. If it happens, it happens if I wake up early enough. But we will definitely be back Tuesday for Two Wheel Tuesday. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
Oh, I said doubt.
Yeah.
You got a big weekend ahead of you.
Big weekend. Actually, you know what? And that being said, I will hopefully go find some Isaac stuff.
Nice.
That'd be good. All right. Yeah. Any last things you want to say?
Perfectionism is a form of addiction and I would not encourage to be a cornerstone of your personality.
Alrighty, sounds good. Thank you very much. I'm off to eat a burrito and then I'm going to go to bed.
Sounds great to me. Have a good one.
Okay, we'll see you later. Okay, bye, chat. Have a good one. Okay, bye.
Bye.